I'm sure you all remember the Dark Knight trilogy, especially its second installment, where the Joker stole the show. This iconic character, portrayed masterfully by the late Heath Ledger, became unforgettable thanks to his chaotic, unpredictable nature. His backstory? A total mystery. Every time he shared a piece of his past, it was a different story. This made him even more terrifying.
You wanted me. Here I am.
Then Hollywood, in its constant quest to explore character origins, decided it was time to give the Joker a more emotional and dramatic backstory. In 2019, with Joker, Todd Phillips, known mostly for his comedies, was tapped to direct, and Joaquin Phoenix was cast in the lead. People were skeptical. How could the guy behind The Hangover possibly handle the complexities of the Joker? Well, the results were nothing short of extraordinary. With a modest $55 million budget, Joker raked in over $1 billion worldwide. Not only did audiences love it, but critics gave it a thumbs up too. Joaquin Phoenix's performance was so impressive, it earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor.
And the Oscar goes to Joaquin Phoenix, Joker.
And the Golden Globe goes to Joaquin Phoenix.
This is Joaquin Phoenix's second. BAFTA goes to Joaquin Phoenix for Joker.
The actor goes to Joaquin Phoenix.
It was clear, this was a bold R-rated movie for an adulted audience that craved something deeper. Now, while many didn't expect a sequel, money talks in Hollywood, so of course they're making one. But as I watched Joker, one thing became apparent. We've seen this story before. Some say it's a darker Taxi Driver, the 1976 Martin Scorsese classic. But for those of us more familiar with cinema history, it bears a striking resemblance to The King of Comedy, another Scorsese gem from 1982. The similarities are hard to miss. Both Joker and The King of Comedy center around aspiring stand-up comedians with serious sociopathic tendencies. Each character lives with his mother, has wild, distorted fantasies, and seeks validation from a television icon. They both pursue a romantic relationship and, in the end, commit illegal acts that climax in a TV studio. And let's not forget, Robert De Niro stars in both films. Now, I'm not saying Joker is a cheap ripoff of The King of Comedy. In fact, Todd Phillips never denied or confirmed his inspiration from that film. Joker stands on its own in terms of performances, cinematography, and overall impact. However, fans of The King of Comedy will notice the pacing differences. In Joker, we know everything we need to know about Arthur Fleck in the first act. He's an aspiring comedian with mental health issues, who idolizes a TV host and lives with his mom. But in The King of Comedy, we don't fully grasp Rupert Pupkin's desperation until the final act. His obsession with fame, his idolization of a celebrity, and his loneliness build gradually. One of Joker's biggest challenges, in my opinion, is that it tries to blend a gritty origin story with the broader Batman universe. At the end of the day, the Joker has to connect with Batman's world, even if it's just a glimpse. But Joker has another, subtler flaw. Todd Phillips, while capable, is not Martin Scorsese. Scorsese is a master of raw, uncomfortable, and realistic storytelling. His films, especially from the 70s, capture the desperation, fear, and ambition of New Yorkers, clawing their way to success in a city that shows no mercy. The Gotham in Joker feels like New York in the 70s, but not just because of its look. It's the class divide and the social tension that erupts into chaos. It's a perfect reflection of a city on the edge. Comparing these three films, Taxi Driver, The King of Comedy, and Joker, is an interesting exercise. Each has its own strengths, its own interpretation of a man's descent into madness, and its own style.
I don't know. I just want to go out. I You know, I really want to... I got some bad ideas in my head. I just can't.
How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts. But you don't listen anyway. I said, for my whole life.
A long, continuous chain.
Now, you come on, Jerry, and you do your monologue, and then when the time comes, this is how I see you introducing me. You could say something like this. Will you please give your warmest welcome to the newest king of comedy, Rupert Pupkin?
Can you introduce me as Joker?
What's wrong with your real name?
That's what you called me on the show. A Joker. Do you remember?
Did I? I don't know. But if you say so, kid, you know, Joker it is. It's good.
King of comedy, Rupert Pupkin.
Laugh, so please welcome Joker.
I see the awful, terrible things in my life and turn it into something funny. It just happens.
You know what's funny? You know what really makes me laugh? I used to think that my life was a tragedy. But now I realize it's a fucking comedy.
Tony! Thank you very much. I have some sad...
Rupert Pupkin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for Rupert Pupkin.
While the King of Comedy didn't do well at the box office back in 1982, grossing only $2.5 million against a $19 million budget, it's now seen as a cult classic. Its biting satire and De Niro's incredible performance have aged like fine wine. So, what's the King of Comedy all about? It follows Rupert Pupkin, a wannabe comedian who spends his days stalking celebrities outside of TV studios, desperate for his big break. One night, he manages to hitch a ride with his idol, Jerry Langford, played by Jerry Lewis. Rupert's life is a string of delusions. He rehearses his comedy routine in his mom's basement, imagining himself as a star. He even tries to impress an old flame by pretending to be Jerry's friend and crashing Jerry's mansion. Rupert's desperation spirals out of control when he kidnaps Jerry, demanding to be given a spot on his show in exchange for the host's release. It's at this moment we finally see Rupert's comedy routine, and it's awkward, uncomfortable, and cringeworthy, much like Arthur Fleck's stand-up in Joker. But what Rupert's jokes reveal is far more important: a past of bullying, loneliness, and a deep need for acceptance. Sound familiar? Yep, the inspiration is hard to deny. Even Joker's ending, with Arthur Fleck celebrated as a kind of folk hero after his crimes, echoes Rupert's fate. In The King of Comedy, Rupert gets out of jail, writes a best-selling book, and lands his own TV show. So, if you enjoyed Joker or are a fan of De Niro, The King of Comedy should definitely be on your watch list. It's a lesser-known masterpiece that showcases a different side of De Niro, away from the mobster roles he's famous for. If we were to explain the reasons behind its failure, we could mention that it has a very Scorsese-like style. In other words, it tells uncomfortable stories that aren't always appealing for theater audiences. For instance, Raging Bull was overshadowed by a more heroic and likable boxing story like Sylvester Stallone's Rocky. Taxi Driver only gained recognition years after its release, as Scorsese's commercial success began to grow. By the late 70s, the film industry was heading towards big blockbusters like Star Wars and exploring new genres such as Spielberg's Jaws, which were far more enticing to cinema-goers at the time. Additionally, the sci-fi and space horror genre was rising in popularity with movies like Alien. As for Joker 2, well, we'll see if the sequel can live up to the original. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dive movie analysis. See you in the next video.